trained animals before. An approximation is what we call a small stepping stone, a milestone, to gauging how close you're getting to the actual behavior that you're looking for. Okay? So I started with right at the edge of the corral, I should say, and handed her food, kept her moving with me closer and closer to the gate, to the entering into her pen. After about 2 or 3 months, she finally let me get into the pen with her. And I had a halter, which is looks like a leash for a horse, puts them on their head, kind of lead them around. And she worked really well with a female handler, so that was her favorite halter. So I figured if I had it and was feeding her at the same time, she'd get kind of comfortable with me. So these approximations are little small steps. Finally, after 4 months, you can see me standing next to her, and actually she would allow me to brush her, which was really important because then she could feel my contact with her, and she understood that I was different from the other guys, and I wasn't going to hurt her. So at the time, I didn't know I could look back at my success and say that I was successful with her because I entered into an agreement with her without communication, without words, that I wanted to heal her and help her get to her higher purpose. Okay, so I really didn't know what I was doing at the time. I was only entering into this with my best intentions. Okay? So that kind of worked with her. My time in Lodi, I fell in love with the ocean. You ever see the series Jacques Cousteau's Undersea? We're too young. But anyway, when I was growing up, Jacques Cousteau had an undersea world adventures, and I got all warm inside about being an oceanographer and excited at an early point in my life I wanted to become an oceanographer. Well, in order to pursue my passion, I had to leave Lodi because that was the only biggest water we had there was an irrigation ditch, so it really didn't help. So there were 2 schools I could go to because I wanted to stay on the West Coast. I could either go to Humboldt State up in Northern California, or I could go into San Diego. All right. So I sat there and thought about it. I could go to Humboldt and participate with the lush greenery up there, you know, with all the people. Or I could pursue the sunshine in Southern California. So I ended up coming down to San Diego, and it just was a better sense. But when I got here, I realized how expensive it was to pay for that sunshine that we all want to live with, right? So I needed to get a job to help pursue my education. Well, I applied like most people do to construction sites and marinas and restaurants, but wasn't really as successful as I wanted to. Got a lot of rejections. So the final place I went to was SeaWorld. And proving my application, I walked in with my raggedy dreams and my long scraggly hair and handed in my application. They took it and sent me on my way. And I waited a few days and I hadn't heard anything, so I called in because I've been rejected before, but why did I want to pursue this one? I really don't know. I just knew that I needed to pursue. Called in. They said they didn't have my application. Could you take me to the HR department, please? And she put me to the HR. Well, she put me on hold. And the next thing I know, instead of the HR department, like out of the blue, I get transferred down to the training department. And I talked to the assistant director of training. He walks me through the process of becoming hired, and he actually does get me hired. It includes getting a haircut on the way down. Okay? And I can't tell you why I wanted to do this so badly. I don't know what was telling me inside. It was just like, oh, maybe you've had that experience before where it's not just a coincidence. It's like the universe had a plan for you. Okay? And, well, what the universe planned for me was this place called the Fish House, which was my first experience at SeaWorld. And it's a glorious place. Let me tell you about the Fish House.
Jelly. I've been in there.
Yeah, it's an interesting place because you figure it takes care of all the nutrition for all the animals at SeaWorld. So it houses tons and tons and tons of dead fish. And the smell is not really for the faint of heart. So it really is really. But what's really neat about it is because I did feel really connected to the animals because I was responsible for all their health and nutrition, and I learned a lot about how to take care of the animals while I was in the fish house. It was dark. You worked from 11 o'clock at night till 2 or 3 in the morning, delivering fish to all the places. I'd go home at the end of the day, take a shower, get refreshed, think everything was good. You step out of the shower and you go, what is that? and you know, you just had that fish scales underneath your fingernails, they would dry